we'll get started. How are you feeling being here at Toronto?
It's too far. Feels great. It's just my second time here, but I'm very excited. There's a large Greek community here, so I've seen moments of Stefanos' matches here, which I'm really looking forward to witness in the next few days, and I'm just very excited to be back here.
Great. We'll open up for questions. As always, please say your name and outlet. Right here.
I'm creating Sacco with Sportsnet. So now that we've kind of gone through every surface this year, we're back to hard court. How's the transition been for you? And you obviously a very popular player, so do you happen to favor the hard court at all?
I believe so, because I do feel very, very nice, when I'm very comfortable when I'm playing on a hard court, especially here in the US swing is a swing that I've been doing well all these years, and especially last year picking at the US Open. So yeah, it's just probably my favorite time of the year and of the season, and I think that I say that all the time for every single stretch, but it is one of my favorite ones, yes.
Going from the score. Maria Annette talked earlier about her earlier memories of facing Iga, and although she beat her the first two times, she knew she was going to be a tough out down the road. Now you beat her in the first three head-to-head matchups. The last two she's got better to be. Do you remember how she was back then, how she's grown, and did you see any potential in her to be where she is right now?
I mean, she's doing something right. I can tell you that, because she's a different player to when I beat her the first three times to now. I believe that she has a new coach that probably brought something else or something out of her that and probably giving time to herself, just growing and getting used to the tour. Also was something maybe was the key for her. But she's a very, very tough player, and we're chasing her, and nothing more than that.
Yes.
Back here, Kevin Madigan, Tennis Canada. You're known for being very energetic, and even on what is probably the hottest weekend in Southern Ontario, you've been smiling and interacting with fans. Even invited a girl to hit a couple of balls. Where does that mindset come from?
I have to say that I was not enjoying myself the last few months. Even in San Jose, I was not really myself, and after that, I just sat down with Tom and just for a lot of hours and just realized that I'm not enjoying being one of the best players in the world, which was something very tough to admit and very tough to handle, but it's the truth, it's the reality, and I think that the pressure and everything was something I had to deal with. But obviously, I just, as my mom always used to say, just try to enjoy as much as you can this journey, because obviously from her career she knows that it doesn't last long, and I'm just trying to enjoy every single moment here, because I'm 27, it's like I have 15 more years on the tour. I'm not saying that I'm gonna quit anytime soon, but I'm actually gonna try and follow what my mother said for the first time in my life, and I mean on court. I did listen to her growing up, but obviously I saw that little girl. She had her birthday yesterday, and I thought that if I was her and I was 10 years old, it would be a dream to play with a player that she's at my level, and I think I can also get something good and happiness out of it.
Yes.
And Maria, just on that point, in terms of struggling maybe this year a little bit, it's your first season as a top 10 player, full season. So can you give a little bit more insight or a little bit more detail or explain a little bit more what it was about it, especially after Indian Wells, that maybe kind of was holding you down a little bit?
Of course, especially after the match against Paula, that I'm sure you remember that, it was very emotional because obviously I knew that I was gonna be a top 3 player after winning that match, and I'm not saying that that was my goal, that was my ceiling in my career, that I want to be number 3. No, my goal is to be number 1 and to win multiple tournaments and Grand Slams. But when you grow up in a country that has especially in tennis, the wrong mentality, and I was always the person and the player that, because my mom was very famous back home, they always used to say that she's never gonna make it. Like, even if she changes multiple coaches and she moves to Spain, whatever, she will never make it. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, become one of the best players in the world. So for me, it was very tough to handle it, and I struggled. And as I mentioned before, even last week, I did not enjoy myself, because sometimes, when you're on the tour and you play week after week, you just stop and you don't realize what you have really achieved. And then obviously, having my mom by my side and just reminding all the time, how many people love you, how many people are proud of you, and you just have to realize what you have achieved. And it takes time for someone, and I believe that it took time for me, but I feel like I'm just on the right track to being myself again, and I believe you're gonna see a different Maria than the last 3 months.
Hi, Maria Gliska-Kinski, Journal de Montréal. As you may know, the Williams sisters are here. Did you grow up watching them? They inspired you in your career, and if so, how?
Yeah, obviously, I remember myself watching Serena and Venus with my grandmother, and it's great, to have them still, on the tour. It's very good for women's tennis. Of course, I think they inspired every single female tennis player and athlete out there, because Serena is, for my opinion, she's the greatest female athlete of all time. So it's great to have her around, and being around her and just playing the same tournaments as her. Oh, in the back, sorry.
Oh, okay. And just in terms of being near that top 3, and there's a bunch of players who are in the top 5 who are kind of, whether it's you or Ons or Iga, kind of trailblazing for their country. It's like every day you're making history for your nation in terms of tennis. Do you guys ever kind of talk about that, or is there kind of a shared experience, a different type of pressure than compared to, for example, like a Paula or Coco or Danielle, you know what I mean?
We haven't really spoke about it. I believe we all share the same, we all have the same feelings and emotions, especially being from a small country like Greece, Tunisia, Poland. I mean, it's something very unique, especially for myself and Ons and Annette as well. We were the first ones that, I had Stefanos, but he's on the male side, and we were the first ones to achieve something that big for women's tennis. And I think that everyone's expecting us to win every single match back home, but we're trying to, of course. But who says we can? It's not easy. But I've never Actually, we spoke a little bit with Annette about it. We agreed on that it was something new for us, and the pressure and everything is not easy to handle. But I believe we're both very good players, and we're gonna find our way, as I said.
Last question.
Diana from All Media. So when going back to that time when people were saying she's never gonna make it, did you ever feel like quitting tennis? And what was one major change that you did, or you and your mom did, to move away from that?
Well, I never thought of quitting because of that. I was always, when I had people saying that she's not good enough or whatever, it always worked the other way around. I was always like, I'm gonna prove you wrong, that I'm gonna make it. But it's in the back of your head. Like once you make it, it's just you're like, you see, I proved you wrong. And even today, I want to prove people wrong. Then I want to achieve more. So it is a motivation for me. And as I said, of course, having my mom by my side, she is a great supporter. So it helped me, achieve that.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.